Welcome back to podcast episode number 2. Thank you so much for all the support on the first episode. That went absolutely swimmingly. Everyone messaged me, well, not everyone, but a lot of people, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, just people I know from Instagram, just saying they really liked how raw it was and how I opened up about a few things that a lot of people don't speak about, like most frequently not spoken about. Remember, guys, I'm not doing any cuts, so if I stutter or if I sound stupid, that's the whole point of the podcast. But things like relationships, previous relationships, right, with exes, and going through hard times when dieting, when prepping, all the different things I've learned in my life that have been hard. I think a lot of people don't realize that the people you see on social media too are normal people, right? I'm a normal person, and I'm sure I go through a lot of struggles that many of you probably don't even realize I go through, and you're thinking, oh, you're alone, like why does no one else go through this? Where, you know, I go through all these things as well. It's completely normal. So this is what I hope the podcast ends up being, right? A place where I can just share my own experiences, be open and honest, and you guys can relate to it, right? That's the aim of the game for me. But this video, or this podcast even, episode 2, is going to be about my whole experience on prep as a natural bodybuilder. So I've prepped twice now, and I want to kind of take you through the ins and outs and everything that happened in it regarding relationships, regarding myself, my mental state, lots of different things, and really cover that as deeply as I can, because I think even one thing that I hope this can come to shed a light towards is, like, I've got a few clients going through their dieting phases, and I know they're struggling in terms of how they feel, the lethargy and, you know, mental state, and maybe some things to do with partners as well. Like, a lot of people have issues with their partners, right? So hopefully, like, from a few of the mistakes that I made, or the few of the things that I learned, you guys can learn from it too. I need a sip of water because there's going to be a hell of a lot of talking, and I just filmed my hair transplant update video, so I've been talking a lot already. But essentially, let's start it right from the get-go. So as you guys remember, if you don't remember, maybe you haven't watched it. First off, if you're new to this podcast, my name is Mikey, 23 years old, online fitness coach, right? I almost forgot the name of it. MJ Performance Coaching is my coaching service. I've got a fantastic team behind me, and I also do content creation, and I have competed as a natural bodybuilder twice, but am I going to do it again? I don't know. Maybe we'll see what this video is about. But prep started. I compete. I'll go over the first prep. My cats are going crazy in the background because I'm sitting downstairs. But my first prep I did when I was 21 years old, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so 2023. Let me just get it up on my phone and make sure I'm not getting this wrong. And that was roughly like a 16-week-long prep. 16-week-long prep. I'm not going to go too much into detail regarding it because it's a pretty boring prep and not much happened. Yeah, so I competed, I think it was the 16th of July 2023 in the WNBF First Timers Novice Championship as a first-timer junior. I got 4th place, essentially. That prep was it was okay. I suffered quite a lot, did a lot of cardio. I'm talking like an hour and 50 minutes a day. My calories got down to 1,100 calories, I believe, at one point. So if any of you think that you've dieted hard, that was pretty hard. Maybe some of you have, but that was for a prolonged period of time, and I dropped a lot of weight. I think I got down to 67.5 kilograms at my lowest, and essentially wasn't really happy with my placing. I enjoyed the process a lot, though. I was just very present in it because I knew it was my choice. I knew I was dieting out of my own whim, and it was something that I always wanted to do, so I was going to stick for it no matter what it was. The last thing I want to happen to me, regardless of anything I do, is have any excuses towards me not doing as good as I want in anything, whether that's YouTube, whether that's my coaching, competing, whatever the case is. I'll always give it my all because I don't want there to be any excuses. I don't want myself to be like, oh, I could have done better if I did this, or if I didn't cheat on the diet, I could have got placed better. But anyway, that's just my philosophy behind things. No matter how much I have to suffer, I will, because I want to be the best at everything I do, or the best version of myself at everything I do. I've always just been that way, and I will carry on being that way. But After that prep finished, went to America, binged like crazy, put on a hell of a lot of weight, and pretty much developed an eating disorder for around 6 months, in all honesty, guys. Binging, got really, really fat, hated how I looked, was super not confident. And that's where I was in a yo-yo phase of dieting, bulking. And I only bulk because my appetite was so high, and I was like, I need to sort this out, but then I hated how I looked, so I dieted. And I didn't have a coach at that time because I left my coach as soon as I finished prep. Fast forward a long time. Maybe like a year later, I signed up with Finn Natural Physiques Coaching, and went into a prep with him. Cancelled the prep because I got really ill, because essentially I did an all-nighter for my dissertation, which was good memories, right? My dissertation was due. I hadn't started it, hadn't done anything. I think it was 36 or 48 hours until it was due, and I did 11,000 words, staying up all night. And, you know, I remember my ex being in bed beside me, like asleep, and I was just up all night. We'd wake up, have a coffee, I'd work. Like, oh my God, it was brutal. And I was really ill afterwards. So we called off the prep. Well, I got some gut microbiome infection. That was horrendous. I had to poo in a little container and give it to the doctor so they can test my gut microbiome. That was awful times. But tread back a little bit, okay? So that's happened, and that's how I started with Finn, and then the prep that just happened led up. But I was in a relationship during my final year of uni, dissertation, and I think being in a relationship during those times is very beneficial. I had a lot of support, someone that was telling me like, I'm gonna do great, and I felt really wanted, which was really nice, because the prep I did for the first time, I was very alone. I isolated myself from pretty much all my friends just because of how battered I was. I didn't really feel good. I'm gonna lower this down a little bit, but sort my shorts out first so I don't expose myself at all. But yeah, I just felt very alone. I was away at uni. All my flatmates I was living with at the time just kept going home, and I was just by myself, super isolated, guys. I felt the most alone I felt my entire life, and I hated that feeling. And then when I went back home for the final 2 weeks of prep, I was with my mum and my brother, and then my granddad passed away on peak weeks, and my mum had to fly away to Poland, and then it was just myself and my younger brother yet again. So I really had like a week with a bit of support, I guess you could say, but it's no one's fault, right? I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. And that was really hard in peak week when my granddad died. Oh my God, yeah, that was rough. And then my mum was gone, and oh, bloody hell, I needed my mum now. I was like, oh, mum, no. But yeah, that's what happened there. And then finally, like being in a relationship during that second prep that failed, it was really nice, because I was also, before the first prep, I was in a relationship as well, and I kind of used the prep as a escape from a really hard breakup for myself, where I was distraught for like a bloody year. Crybaby, I know. Like, I look back on it, I'm thinking, what the hell? All my mates, if any of them were watching it, you guys remember what I was like during that breakup phase. Bloody hell, I really needed a massive slapping in my face. Speaking of, oh mate, I'm getting so much acne recently. Ever since I finished prep, my hormones have been all over the place. I'm just getting acne everywhere. Anytime I'm not on prep, I get acne. Anytime I'm on prep, my skin clears up. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, there goes my ADHD again. So yeah, starting that second prep with someone there was really nice. I had so much support. I felt like I was doing it for someone other than myself, which was really refreshing. And then called off that prep, went into an off season, and I was loving life, right? I graduated with a first class degree in medical sciences. I was in a pretty good relationship, like all was so well for me. I started my first job out of university as well as a medical sales representative. I got working at a place that I absolutely loved, and I still love to this day. I had great colleagues, great friends, and what an experience that was. Really loved working at that place, and I only quit like 4 months ago to pursue this as a full-time job, my coaching, which I'm beyond blessed, which obviously I love this job more. It's a completely different ball game. But prep, okay, so I moved back home. Things are going well in the off season, and we kick off prep December the 7th 2024, which I remember exactly. And my thought process behind it was, my coach at the time put us in a really long timeline so we can fit things in. Like Christmas, I can have a little bit of food whilst letting it be controlled. I could fit in my ex-partner's birthday, anniversary, Valentine's Day. Those were the four main things I really wanted to fit in during prep, so I could still balance life a little bit. And we essentially wanted to get ahead so I could fit those things in, and it worked out fantastically, right? So going into Christmas, had my first ever English Christmas, which was really, really cool. Enjoyed it a lot, but had to hold myself back a lot, right? It was the case of I was allowed very small portions of certain food. I remember her mum telling me like, "Oh, Mikey, have a bit more," and I was like, in my head, I was like, "Oh, this food is so good. Like, I want more. I wish like this. I'm never going to be able to get this time back," and I let it slip. I said no, like I can't, I'm sorry, like I'm really full. Obviously I was lying, I was starving. And small little things like that, I do regret a lot, because these are memories I'm never going to be able to go back in time and create. That's what I say to my clients. If there's something like an off-plan meal that's going to create a memory, like you're going for an occasion, an event, a wedding, a birthday, you're never going to be able to take that time back and create that memory again, right? Think about that. You'll never be able to go back in time, because once it's done, it's done. And those are the things I regret and I don't like about prep a lot, is I missed out on a hell of a lot of things. But we'll get into that as the story continues. So yeah, that was Christmas. New Year's, same thing. Didn't really do much over New Year's, and this was my, I believe my first. No, it would have been my second New Year's with a partner. The first one I had with her as well, which is fine. The second one was fine as well, but just very limited. And once again, I regret these things. I just wasn't present in it, guys. Being present in life is super important. And I look back on it, I'm thinking, what a twat I was. Honestly, I don't even know how people dealt with me during prep. And this isn't going to be all about my ex-girlfriend, by the way. I just think that is a crucial part of the story. And I got a lot of messages as well of people telling me how they're going through breakups, or they have been through, or they're going, like, whatever, right? And me speaking about it helped them out a lot. So I spoke about it with my mum a little bit, and I was like, oh, do you know what? Maybe I should open up about it a little bit more, be a bit more raw with you guys, and show you my true emotions, and show you I'm human at the end of the day. So after New Year's, that's fine, like straight back into prep, okay? And then the first little thing after prep was Valentine's Day, right? February 14th. Had a little bit of food there, cooked some food. But then again, right, the hard thing about prep was I was losing weight very rapidly. Things were going really well. But like the mental connection between like going off plan, knowing I've got a show and I can't extend the show, oh, that was hard. It was so challenging. And once again, didn't allow me to be present in the situation, because I was like, I can't enjoy this. I know it's not all about food, but more like I was just I was anxious over everything. I was panicking. I was like, I can't have this. I can't have this. Oh no, what's going to happen? It's going to ruin my look. Hello, Willow. My cats. Yeah, so that was really hard. And Valentine's Day, I tried enjoying myself as much as I could, but I just hated being out of routine in terms of not being at home, not having my gym, not having my cardio equipment, not having my walking pad, not having my own scales. All these different things were definitely affecting me. And that just goes to show again how I was definitely horrible to be around. And I just hate thinking back to times like that. Not anything necessarily to do with the relationships, just because of like how I treated certain people. Like I just wasn't probably a fun person to be around. And if any of you know me, I definitely am a bit of a people pleaser. I think that's one of the biggest flaws about myself, is I hate whenever I know someone hates me. It's just the worst feeling for me ever. I really want everyone to like me, because I always try to be as nice as I can to everyone, try to be as friendly as I can. Someone come into my house? No, we're all good. Yeah, I just try to be as friendly and nice to everyone. I really don't like it when people don't like me. And I think during prep, like I forget that that's the type of human I am, and I get very selfish, and it's not good. It's not good, honestly. There's so much I could speak about this topic, but yeah, that was really hard for me during Valentine's, just to balance it, right? But it was my first ever Valentine's Day, which was also really cool. Or my second ever, sorry. I did the one the year before. But then going on to it, the next thing was, I think it was our 1 year anniversary, which also went really nice. We went to a spa. Finn let us have some food, which was good. How funny is that I say my coach let us have some food? But that's just the nature of prep, right? I think a lot of people don't realize what they're getting into when they get into a prep, where it is so restricted. It really is restricted in terms of what you can do. And that's just all part of the game. But don't get me wrong, I did everything I was supposed to do. If Finn told me I couldn't have an off-plan meal, I would not have had a bloody off-plan meal. But yeah, we went to some nice spa, which once again, it was so hard away. Pardon me, it was so hard being away from my own routine. Really hard for me to be present. Like, I was struggling a lot mentally. I didn't ever tell anyone how much prep affects me mentally, because I don't want people to ever think like I'm going to give up. And I hid that from my partner. I hid that from my mum, my brother, my coach. Like, I hid it from everyone, which is not what you should do. You should always open up. I think if I did open up, things would have been a lot better, but I kept everything hidden, and I had a lot of family issues going on where, lots of different things, right? I'm not going to get into detail of that, but that was all stockpiling on me. And it was really, really hard for me to just have emotions, because if I showed my emotions, I probably would have broken down, to be honest with you, right from the beginning of prep. But that happens later on, so don't you worry about that. So yeah, anniversary went good. And then the last little thing before prep got super serious was in March, my ex-partner's birthday, which once again was really, really nice. Went out for some food. Had a little bit of an off plan, which was an on plan because my coach let me have it. But once again, the panic and the anxiety set in of, I'm not eating what's on my plan. I feel horrible for it. Didn't feel like I was in a routine. Felt like I was rushing things. And yeah, it was just a rinse and repeat cycle of that, which I really hated. It just didn't make me feel good. And I think that's what made me build a lot of resentment about potentially the relationship itself, is just how much of a pedestal I put prep on it. But how much of a pedestal I put prep on. Like, prep was the most important thing for me, which is so selfish, because I really wanted to redeem myself for the first time I competed. That was like my main aim of the game. But then starting up MJ Performance during this time as well, like nearer to the start of the year, which was going well, really focusing on that. And at this point during March time, I was quite literally working from like 4:30, 5 a.m. up until 8:30. I would start my normal job, and that sort of morning block was coaching. I would start my normal job. That was 8:30 till 5. Every single second I could take a break or take some time away from the computer, I would do MJ Performance coaching. I'd be prepping, I'd be making meals. Luckily, I would work from home, which was also a massive blessing. And then as soon as I finished work, straight to the gym, and then work right up until I fell asleep. So I was really, really busy, whilst ongoing a few family problems, which is also very hard for me to balance. But that's where I started feeling like being in my little brother's in the window. I started feeling like being in a, it's okay, don't worry, I'm just recording a podcast. But it started feeling like when I was in that specific spot in time, like that relationship side of things, I completely forgot about, and I started resenting it a lot in terms of, oh, it's taken away from my business, it's taken away from prep. And then that's where things started going downhill on that side, right? Which is just how deluded you get during prep, really. You become, well, at least, I'm not saying everyone's like this, because not everyone is. This is just my experience, okay? But I just became so emotionless in every single aspect, where I was just focused on a few things. Don't get me wrong, right? The relationship that I was in was still very important. I still really did care. But then it just got to a point where I couldn't handle all things at once. So I chose what at the time I thought was more important for me. And that was the business, that was prep, which, isn't a good thing, right? I don't want people to make the same mistake as me. This isn't me saying like I want to be back with my ex and things like that. It's just reflecting on the way I handled things, because it was not good. It's not me, and I didn't like it. I wasn't a nice person. I mean, I think I was nice, right? I never said anything rude. I never did it in such a way where, I tried being respectful as I could, okay? But anyway, all of that happened. That happened around May time, okay? And that's where I went like absolutely full throttle into prep and business, right? I quit my job. Coaching started going amazing. Went full throttle into prep. And yeah, it started getting hard at that point. I remember like I'd go downstairs here, sit next to my mum on the sofa every single day. I'd cry uncontrollably. Nothing to do with the relationship at that point, right? At that point, it was more to do with I was physically drained. I did not have the mental willpower to do anything, but I had responsibilities already, so I had to. I'd just sit next to my mum and cry, and she'd be like, "What's the matter?" I don't even know, Mum. I just need to cry. I need to cry. But it was really nice during that prep having my mum there, but then also before prep start, like during that prep before like I split up with my ex, it was really nice having someone there because you were also like doing it for them in a way, right? Where I was excited to celebrate after the prep finish, really give time back to them, presents, all these different things. And then it went away again. So that was really hard for me, which I'll tell you when it was. But leading up to the first show, won the WMBF first timers novice overall championship, which what a feeling. I still look back at that time and I get goosebumps. Best memory of my life. Felt amazing. Obviously leading up to it, I felt like death. But then comes show day, biggest high of my life, and that's where things start falling down, right? The higher you get, the more you fall down, or whatever that saying is. You guys know what I'm on about. And so I come back from being in the Airbnb with all the boys, the Natural Physiques crew, which was a wicked time. I love all of them. If any of you are watching this, oh my God, what a memory. I'm going to see them again at the WMBF Supernatural. So I'm going to go out there and support Natural Physiques because they're all legends. But I've got a few questions to answer on that as well, whether like if I'm still working with Finn and stuff, which I'll go into. But anyway, that's where I come back and I get home, and that's when the breakup hit me. The day after my first show of the season. So that was like June the 7th or something, right? That's where things really hit me. I was like, oh shit, okay. I've just come out of a really high. Now I'm straight back to digging, like really low calories, right? Like pretty high steps. It was like 15,000. Still no cardio, luckily, but I was very lean, so I felt awful. And then the breakup started hitting me. And I was so upset over it. I was like, have I made the right decision? I don't know what I've done anymore. Like, I missed the support there. That's the one thing I missed a lot. It's just having someone you could call at night and speak to and just know will be there to comfort you and like support you. Those are the things that I missed a lot. And the one thing that hit me the hardest was not being able to celebrate, because that was the one thing that I was looking forward to all prep, was to like celebrate with them, right? I'd be like, it's over. You don't need to put up with me like this anymore. Because I'd be like, I'd always say, I'm so sorry, this is all I'm speaking about, but it's the majority of what the prep was about, to be honest with you. But I'd always be like, during the prep, like, oh, I'm sorry, like soon it will all be over with. You don't have to deal with me like this anymore. It's not long, only 2 months left, only a month left. And then, yeah. So I didn't have someone where I could, I'm normal now, like things are back to normal. I'm so sorry for the time that I was like this, but obviously prep consumed me and it was too late to go back. And yeah, that was hard. Like during that period, the 2 weeks or 3 weeks in between my shows, from like June the 9th to June the 29th. So it was like almost 3 weeks, quite literally. Every single day driving to the gym, I'd be crying. I'd get into the gym, like, oh, I can't train. Like I did train, I still pushed myself as hard as I can. I hated how I looked, started losing all hope. I had that such a high after winning the show, and then such a low with everything hitting me as well. It affected me so hard. And at this point, the coaching business started taking off a lot. So I was the busiest I've ever been as well. And that was always going to be my number one priority. So I kind of neglected myself completely, where I forgot about how I felt. I didn't really take into account any of my feelings. And I just let it consume me again. And going into the final show, you know, I haven't really spoken to anyone about this, but I was so negative. Like, I wasn't excited for it. I just wanted it to be over. I just can't wait for this prep to be over with. I've made so many mistakes on it. I just want to remedy those mistakes and become a better human again. I just really hated the person I became during prep. And the boys, my friends, my closest friends from home, they'll know, like I always say to them now, I absolutely hated the person I became on prep. And I didn't speak to anyone about this because I didn't want people to feel like I was giving up. I didn't want people to feel like I was being weak or anything. So I didn't speak about it, but quite literally, I hated myself. Like, no matter if I won the overall, I didn't care. I just wanted it to be over with. And I remember, yeah, so I get to that show. I win my class, had no excitement about it whatsoever. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, maybe if I win the overall, I'll be excited. And there was like 8 hours in between my class and the overall. And I just remember, like, I was so upset. I can't lie to you. Like, I asked my coach, I was like, oh, what are the chances that I'm going to win the overall? And he said, oh, to be honest, Mikey, not that high. And then as soon as he said that, because my coach was being realistic, right? That's what you should expect from a coach, okay? Realism. You don't want fake hype. Maybe in the moment he could have said to me like, oh, Mikey, you can win this. Like, you've got this, to get me pumped up and that. But he said, like, probably not going to win, to be honest. As soon as I heard those words, my mood went from like this being WNBF, this being then, and then it went all the way here. It flew right back down, like all these thoughts floating through my mind. I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like, I'm going to have a plastic trophy at the end of it, which everyone will forget I've got in a week's time. Like, it won't even matter. And all I'm doing is damaging myself, my mental health, all these, oh my God, all these different things. And I knew, I was like, I came onto that stage, still gave him my all, still had a hell of a fun time on the stage. That's for sure. But afterwards, I was just fried. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, and that essentially stems to I'm not going to compete again. Like, I've already made that decision. Me competing as a bodybuilder, full stop, no more. I can't ever go through something like that again. Like, say if I ever got into another relationship or whatever it is, I can't risk losing something that I care about because of the person I become, which you can definitely control it. But myself, I just can't. It's just not the type of person I am. And yeah, that's why I'm not going to compete again. But came back after those shows. Mental was in the dumps, had no motivation for anything, still very upset over the breakup. It hit me even harder. I made the dumb decision, boys, of messaging the ex after all the shows were done. Not a good idea, let me tell you that. And now I'm in a completely different headspace, right? Where I'm a lot more positive. I'm happier than I have been in a long time. I'm finally doing the things that I want to do. I'm chasing my goals. I'm hopefully moving out. I've had the hair transplant. I've got my new car, all these exciting things. So now I'm completely okay. This was just during prep, which I didn't speak about it to anyone whatsoever because I was embarrassed of the guy I became, of how I was acting, how I treated people. It just wasn't me. And I was like, I want this to end so bad, but I already committed. I know when I start something, I'm not going to give up, right? I'll take it up until it finishes. And that's probably a negative aspect of it, right? When I knew things, like, I'm using a relationship as an example because that's probably the main thing that happened. But like I said to you guys, things are okay with me now. Like, I'm all good, I promise you. Yeah, like, definitely spoke to a lot of people about it, and it's been a good chunk of time now, right? It's bloody August 19th. My show was bloody hell, almost 2 months ago now, right? The final one, at least. So it's been a long time for me. The breakup's been even longer away. But yeah, like, speaking to people about it helped a lot. But say if I could go back in time, I probably would have called off the prep, just because of the person I was becoming. Like, if I'm honest with you, if I knew how it would probably affect the people around me and my family, that specific thing, my mental health, I probably would have said, look, I'm probably not in the right headspace to do it. Like, yeah, I won, I did good, but did it benefit me in every other aspect of my life? No, it took away a hell of a lot of life. And that's where, when going into a prep, you need to find that balance of when you're on prep, you need to make sure that you're in a mentally good spot, you're in a good spot in your life. I definitely wasn't, because I was transitioning out of uni. I was back living with my mum. I was far away from people, and then I didn't know what I was doing with my job. Like, it was all hectic and all over the place for me. That definitely wasn't a good point for me to start a prep, but I did, and it was because it was my final year as a junior. That was probably the main reason why. Even though I competed once as a junior, I could have competed as a lightweight in all of them, and I would have still done just as good. Which is funny to say. And I did have 2 more shows planned at the end of the season. So I was meant to do the 2 bro shows, the qualifier and then the regional, to try go for my IFBB pro card, which I called off because I was not in it mentally. I was like, I'm done. I remember speaking to Finn even before the PCA Naturals 2, my final show. I was like, mate, I can't do this show, Finn. Like, I'm not doing it. And he's like, that's absolutely fine, mate. Like, he was there to support me all the way. But that's pretty much going to round off the prep. Now, how am I doing now? I've just really focused on a lot of things, like learning about myself more. I journal every single day now as well. I'm a lot more in tune with the way I feel, luckily. And I'm super thankful for having the world's best team in terms of coaching. And I love my job. I think that's why it was hard, because I loved what I was doing so much. So when I was coaching during prep, like, my mind went numb and I was enjoying life for a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is fun. As soon as I'd finished the coaching, and I was like, right, I need to do the prep side of things. I go, oh. And there's a constant up and down and up and down. But now it's just a constant up, right? Training is back on. I've pretty much I am back into full training. My physique's starting to get a lot better as well, starting to feel a lot better as well. Most prep symptoms have gone. But yeah, like, things are the best they've ever been for myself. Hopefully looking at moving out soon. We'll see when that's going to happen. It's probably going to be October time now, because a few of the flats, like, there'll be a flat video which I'll post for you guys soon. But yeah, the flats went good. I had one of them which I really liked. The second one I didn't like too much, but parking's £150 a month. They don't even have any available. But then, like, 2 days ago, I was sitting there with my mum looking at Rightmove, and 3 new flats popped up, and I was like, oh my God, these are perfect. Like, let me try to get viewings, which they aren't available just yet, but hopefully the viewings will be available soon. And I'll go see those, and fingers crossed I'm going to take one of them, which is super exciting. But I'm going to pause this, go for a pee, and then I'll do the Q&A and touch up on anything else I need to. Right, okay, let me pull up the questions for... I got quite a lot of questions, actually. We'll start off with YouTube questions, which I only think I got 1. And then we'll go into all my Instagram questions. So if I hop into the comment section, let's have a little look. So first off, really nice comments, actually. Awesome looking at them. But from Cal, one of my clients, absolute legend, Cal, you're smashing it at the moment, mate. Very, very proud of you, by the way. Just wanted to say that. But great video, nice insight to who you are as a person, and lots of stuff to get excited for sure. My question is, and I saw this on a coach's story, is, have you ever had to drag clients forward before? Absolutely. Like, first off, and then I'll finish off the question. And if so, why? And if so, why? And the same can be said if those clients who need pulling back. Yeah, I've definitely had both. In terms of, I've got a lot of clients where the main thing that people deal with is self-doubt. That's what they struggle with the most, is they have a lot of self-doubt in themselves. And that's where I literally will say to them, like, right, okay, we're hopping on a call. Let me speak to you. Let me explain to you, like, what's going on and how you're feeling the way you're feeling. Hey, look at what is he doing? Look at him. He's bloody crazy as Morphe. But yeah, I'll hop into calls and I'll say to them, like, right, let's go straight into a call and let's speak about it. Let's have an actual conversation about what's going on in your head. Why are you feeling this way? What is all this self-doubt about? And it's about saying to someone, right, like, the goals that you're trying to achieve in terms of your physique most of the time aren't normal, okay? Like, trying to get lean and trying to lose weight permanently and set up a good life for yourself. Most people cannot do that. Like, 99.9% of people cannot do that. So the goal that you're setting yourself is going to be hard. It's going to require some sort of suffering. Pardon me. Obviously, I'm there to make it as easy and sustainable for you as possible. But is it still going to be hard? Yeah. But are you going to reap the rewards at the end of it? Are you going to feel amazing at the end of it? Yes, absolutely. Like 100%, I promise you. It's the best feeling ever, getting into the best shape. Now, I know this whole episode was about how hard prep is, but prep's a different ball game, guys. Like, I love getting lean. Like right now, I'm going through a mini cut and I feel the best I've felt in ages. Like I'm lean and I feel good, which is awesome. Like prep is just a different thing. But yeah, like it gets hard, but 99% of people can't do it. Do you want to be in that top 1% of people, or do you want to stay in the 99% of everyone else? Like you're going to want to have to be different, right? You're going to want to aspire for more than everyone else. And it requires a lot of effort, right? Because if everyone could do it, everyone would be in that spot. Everyone would have a six pack, as I've said many times before. So it's just about really saying to yourself, hey, I'm going to suffer for this short time. I'm going to preach delayed gratification, because once I'm done with this, I know it will all be worth it and I'll thank myself later. Now, the other end of the spectrum is clients who need pulling back. Yeah, for sure. Where the most common thing I find is a lot of people, once again, is to do with that self-doubt, where they are trying to be too perfect. They have that all or nothing mentality, which takes away more than it gives, right? Because like I said to you, that all or nothing mentality is just like prep, where you can ruin relationships, you can ruin connections with friends, you can ruin family things, right? You don't want to be that person that is no one wants to be around and causing arguments and all these different things. So that all or nothing mentality, where the gym becomes your whole thing, ruins a lot, and oftentimes it leads you to stress out hell of a lot more. And stress is the biggest catabolic factor for bodybuilding, as everyone knows, right? No, you don't want to be stressed out. It affects all different types of things. So all or nothing mentality, trying to be perfect, that's where I try to pull people back. I'm like, hey mate, it's okay to have a little bit of a life. It's okay to not be perfect. You're still doing more than 99.9% of people, right? So hopefully that answers your question, Cal, and hope you're doing well as well, mate. Now, I screenshotted a few Instagram questions that I got, because I got quite a few. And we'll start off with the first one. Tips for growing your brand online. Consistency, discipline, never wanting to give up, and if it's specifically online coaching, get an online coach that you aspire to be like, that you look up to, that you want to be the way that they are, that you like the way that they run things, and just work under them, right? You're going to learn through them coaching you, and it will teach you how to be a better coach, right? And then, yeah, just consistency, number one thing. Don't give up, because the more you do it, the more you'll learn, the better you'll become at it. Clients wants to join the team 10 weeks, do a show, what would you say? Oh, sorry, that question was by Bronk Goes Gym. This question is from the man himself, Sean Lopez. Client wants to join the team 10 weeks out to do a show, what would you say? I would say it all depends on what they look like, the position they're in. I'd ask how their mental state is, how they're feeling. Like, I would explain all the things that you go through during prep. Like Danny, he started with me at 11 weeks out, and this is a conversation I had with him, being like, look, this is what prep can be like. This is what it can lead to. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to feel like shit. But luckily, Danny was in a very good spot for 11 weeks out. Now, is he going to be on low calories and high cardio? Yeah, he is. But I made sure he was prepared for it, that he was ready to do what it takes. And we had a really long chat. And when I was comfortable enough that I'm happy that we won't harm him, that he'll be okay. And like I said to him, like, hey, if it gets to a point where I feel like we need to pull out of prep, I will say, or if you ever feel like you want to drop out of the prep because you're really struggling and it's affecting all aspects of your life, don't ever feel like you can't tell me this and that it's going through your head, because it's important to share those things, because like I said to you guys, I kept those things hidden. So it all depends, Sean, is my answer. I'd go through those little things, and based on that, that's a decision that I would make. Jacob, absolute legend, another one of my clients. Thoughts on peptides like retatrutide and MK677. So with MK, I only know it increases your appetite, something to do with growth hormone, right? Selective androgen receptor modulator is the SARM, which I think specifically targets growth hormone pathways, increases your appetite a lot. I'm very against MK677. I think it's a stupid supplement. I think no one should take it. I think you're going to fuck up your natural hormone levels, and if you are going to take MK677, you might as well go on gear. Like, I swear, it's probably safer, just in terms of if you take the right dosages, if you take the right protocols in place, if you do your blood works. Like TRT is a thing for a reason, right? It's prescribed by the NHS. It's safe with the right measures behind in place. Now, is it 100% safe? No, obviously not. But MK677, there's nothing to back it. It's just some bro science. Obviously, it does work, but I think there's way more negatives to it than positives. Retatrutide, on the other hand, I actually fell into a bit of a rabbit hole with retatrutide, and I find it really interesting. I've done so much research on Reta, and I think it's an awesome compound. So if you guys don't know, it's like Ozempic, if you've ever heard of that, or Mounjaro. So semaglutide, tirzepatide, and retatrutide, right? So semaglutide only targets the GLP-1 receptors, or it's a GLP-1 antagonist. Tirzepatide, or Mounjaro, is a GLP-1 and GIP antagonist, or whatever they call it. And then retatrutide it works with 3 pathways: GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. So the main benefits of retatrutide is, along with the appetite suppression, controlled insulin sensitivity to your blood sugar levels, the way that it essentially helps you with appetite suppression is to slow down gastric emptying, so your body takes longer to digest things and it sends more signals to your brain telling you you're fuller. And the other aspect of it is glucagon, right, which essentially has been found to naturally increase your metabolic rate, so you burn calories quicker, you burn more calories, and effectively retatrutide is really good for partitioning food because of insulin sensitivity, helps you burn fat, right, and ultimately appetite suppression, right? So I think it is a really cool peptide. I think retatrutide is one of the safest ones you can take as well, with a smart dosing schedule. Do I know a lot about it? No, not really. Would I ever take it? Yeah, I think I would. I think that's something I would definitely be interested in the future, but who knows? But it's really, really cool. I think a lot of bodybuilders are against using it because it gets rid of the hard aspect of bodybuilding. As a natural, obviously you can't use it, but I'm not competing anymore anyway, so that won't matter. But I'd let you guys know if I ever went on that. Probably a bit too scared. But retatrutide, yeah, I think bodybuilding wise, massive benefits, especially during the prep. Post-show, massive benefits post-show, right? So I think Reta's really cool, but I could do another whole podcast on these because I've done so much research. It's really interesting. How long have you been going to the gym? From Yanis, I have been going to the gym for almost 8 years, so 8 years in January, so from 16 to 23 years old. From Jan, do you speak Polish? Tak. Yes, I speak Polish. I was born in Poland. If you guys didn't know, I lived there for 3 years and then moved to the UK. So I was born in a place called Gdańsk, lived in Gdynia, and then moved to Poland, moved to England, southwest England, that is. What could I say in Polish? Kocham cię. Well, that means I love you. Jack Barnes, one of my clients. Jack, how are you doing, brother? All about coaching and programming, mate. Might need a full video for that one. Yes, Jack, I'm going to do that as a whole separate video, how I go about it. I think I'm going to include that in my next day in a life. So that will be there for you, Jack. Don't worry about it. Grace, healthy fats. My favorite fat sources that I use and I generally like to implement for clients. Now, obviously that does depend on foods they enjoy, because if they might tell me they like certain types of foods that contain fat, then we'll be using that as a fat source. But generally, avocado, dark chocolate, nut butters, so whether that's peanut butter, almond butter, high fat percentage meats, like beef mince, it could be turkey, it can be bacon, whatever, eggs, extra virgin olive oil. Those are generally my preferred fat sources, to be honest with you. For myself, I don't really rotate between anything else. That's what I like to stick with. But you can get fat sources from things like granola. There's a bit of fat in oats. You got butter as well. Butter's a very good one, like the good butter, like grass-fed butter. Yeah, those are the fat sources I'd recommend. Dylan, tips for someone who wants to succeed as a coach that's getting started. Exactly what I said at the start. Get yourself your own coach. Be consistent. Learn from your mistakes. That's all I would say. Literally just start. Take 5 free clients on, whether that's friends, family. Just post it on your Instagram. Post your own journey. Get a coach. Learn from them. Ask some questions, because if they're a good coach, they will help you with your journey. Like I help a bunch of clients with coaching side of things. So That's what I'd say there. Now, Dylan's asked a lot of questions, so this is not Dylan, my client, a different Dylan, but I'll just whiz through them. What gym will you be training at Cardiff? I think there's one called UFit, if I'm not mistaken. Ed Rimmel, absolute legend. Ed, I hope I'm saying your name right, mate. I hope I haven't butchered that, bloody hell. But he lives in Cardiff, and he recommended. He sent me a bunch of gyms. He sent me an awesome voice, and he's a legend. Will you compete again? No, I've gone over why not. I don't think I'm ever going to compete again, to be honest with you. Why did you decide to leave your coach after the show? That's also a good question, and I'll answer that. So, my mental state after my show, I was really in the bins, and I had a lot going on, and especially with how the coaching business was going. Guys, I quite literally worked 12 hours a day, if I'm honest with you. I did not have the time, and with my hair transplant surgery coming up, sorry, that's also another aspect of it, is I had to have 3 weeks off of my hair transplant surgery, off of the gym. So me having a coach right there was nothing I could have done. I obviously do know how to do things myself. I am an online coach myself, and I just wanted to take a mental break from everything because the coaching was overwhelming me hell of a lot more with all the things I was going on. It had nothing to do with Finn, nothing to do with the team, because Finn is a legend. I could not thank him more than enough. He's helped me out more than any of you guys know. I won't get into the specifics, but I love Finn so much. Seriously, he means the world to me. And I'll always be there to support him in any way, shape or form. Like, people have joined his gym because of me. People have inquired because of me. And I'll carry on doing that because I actually love Finn. I love Natural Physiques, all the team, Josh, Matt, Noah. They are legends. I actually love them a lot. So it had nothing to do with them. It was just a case that mentally I wasn't in a good spot and I needed a break. And I had a lot of other things going on personally in my life, and the hair transplant, it just didn't add up for me. But will I ever go back to Finn? I think time will tell, because I really don't want to compete again. But we'll see. I think I will, but we'll wait for that. Next up, would you rather bench 300 kg and look like you bench 60, or bench press 60 and look like 300? Oh, so you mean bench press 60 and look like you bench 300? 100% bench 60 and look like I can bench 300. What would it matter if I can bench hell of a lot, but if my physique looks shit? Absolutely nothing. I'd much rather my physique looks amazing and not be able to lift heavy weights any day of the week. Ultimate goal with coaching: create a coaching business that anyone and everyone feels like they could join, that I'm so trustworthy that people know that they were going to join me, that if they put in the effort, they will get exactly what they want, and just a hell of a lot of trust, and build a coaching team with other coaches. Eventually, that will happen in a long time, but have a team that I trust, have an amazing team in terms of the clients, and carry on. Like, I've got my first meetup coming up, carry on doing these meetups, create some amazing journeys that change people's lives. Generally just take it day by day and be the best person I can be the best coach I can be, constantly develop, and just create a coaching business that is worldwide, right? Is known worldwide. Like, what, you know, in the UK, awesome, right? But if it was known worldwide, that would be amazing. I've already got clients from America. Shout out Brandon. Shout out to Ed's from New Zealand. Like, I've got, and there's plenty of others as well. I could sit here and name off a lot off the top of my head, but those are the first two that came to my mind. But yeah, that would be the goal. Like, people know me from around the world and feel like they could reach out to me for help. 5-year plan: move out, YouTube 100k subs, TikTok 100k followers, coaching business doing better than ever before, carry on being myself and do not change myself. That's my goal, to be honest with you. Favorite and least favorite cardio: favorite, incline treadmill or Stairmaster. Least favorite, the spinning bloody seated bike. I hate that shit. It hurts my ass too much. Dream 3-man training session: very good question. I've never actually thought about that. I think my dream 3-man training session would be Urs. I love Urs because I'd speak to him about League of Legends all day, and I think he's just an awesome individual. I think on top of that, oh, this is hard. I want to say C-Bum, of course. And who else? Ooh, this is hard. And Nick Walker. I love Nick Walker recently. I've been listening to his podcast all the time. I love Nick Walker. So I'm a massive fanboy. But outside of like bodybuilding, Trend Twins, 100%. I'd love to train with the Trend Twins. That would be so sick. I'd also love to train with Dave Trains, you know, because we're both Polish. I feel like we've had a very similar life. Both had hair transplants in the same place. I would love to train with Dave Trains. I think that would be really cool. I just love the type of person he is and his mindset around everything. I think he's such an awesome individual. So Dave Trains, that would be another one. Biggest inspiration in the industry, my coach, Finn Kelly. Dave Trains, so like seriously, I look up to him a lot. I think he's awesome, just the way he is, of the things that he stands for, how unapologetically he is himself. And C-Bum, of course, 100% C-Bum. He's just always been one of my inspirations, and my future self, the person I want to be. That's also my biggest inspiration. One exercise, each muscle group, what you pick in? Hell no, that would take me too long. Bloody hell, I cannot answer that. My ADHD will not let me answer that. I'm sorry, Dylan, mate. 10 movements for the rest of your life, what you pick in? I can't do that yet again, but it would just be chest, 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 because I love chest training. Para, how to control binge eating. I go crazy every like 10 to 14 days. I don't enjoy my current meals. So I can make a whole video on this, which I will. But first thing is, mate, if you ever do binge, just go straight back onto your plan. Do not punish yourself. Pardon me, do not do extra cardio. Do not starve yourself. Do not do more steps. Straight back onto the plan next day. Things will even out, because the more you punish yourself, you're just going to be on a vicious cycle of binging, restricting, binging, restricting, binging, restricting. So going back onto the plan, get a coach, because a lot of coaches can help you with that. Maybe look at getting therapy as well. All these different things, right? Because it's a hard thing, but I will make a full video on this because I've dealt with it. A lot of my clients have as well, and I can help you, right? But I've made a few videos on it. Like, look at my post-show diet video on how I'm structuring things, how I'm going about it. I've made videos on it before. What's your favorite comic book? So I don't read comic books. I do like watch manga videos and comic book videos on YouTube. Really love Secret Wars. Anime, I'm the biggest nerd of anime. I do love it. Not massive one, but I absolutely love it. But in terms of like, I guess the closest thing I could answer is my favorite MCU movie, which would have to be Infinity War. That's my favorite MCU movie. How to grow, bench, and still do hypertrophy. So that's by Gabriel. So essentially is giving yourself a rep range for hypertrophy. I'd say 8 to 10 reps, 6 to 8. Making sure that you do the bench at the start of the session, right? If you really want to grow strength on it, and then afterwards prioritize accessories like flies, maybe some dumbbell pressing. Make sure you get some incline bench press in there. But if you want to get hypertrophy out of a bench press, just make sure you're controlling the eccentric being explosive on the concentric, making sure you've got time at attention, making sure you've got a rep range that's adequate enough to be in a hypertrophy rep range, right? And that's usually anywhere from 6 to 15 reps, okay? So that's my tip on that. Would love to see how you set up your clients with meal plans and training. I will do a video on that. That's what I'm going to plan to do. So that's by Seb. Don't worry about that, mate. And last but not least is how to gain weight and get leaner. The only way you can do that is through body recomposition, which is essentially lose fat but gain muscle at the same time. Very rare that people go through that, but it can happen. Like, I've had quite a lot of clients go through it. It's all about having a very structured routine in terms of nutrition, making sure you've got your calories figured out perfectly, training plan is on point. But to gain weight and muscle and get leaner, generally, most of the time it happens very easily when you're very new to the gym. If you're very advanced, you've been training for a long time, gaining weight and getting leaner at the same time, the chances of that happening are very low. So I'm sorry to disappoint you on that one, mate. But if you want to go through a body recomposition, inquire with myself and I could see if I could do it for you. But that is going to end the episode 2. That was a bit of a deep one, and you know what, it felt good speaking about that, getting it all off my chest. It's flying through my head right now. Do I want to upload this video? Because I know I spoke about my ex a lot, but I'm going to be open and honest with you guys and share these things. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I love filming these. They are so much fun. a bit of a longer one today. So any questions, leave them in the comments below, or head over to my Instagram. I'll post on my story whenever I'm going to upload a new one. But love you all. Thank you for the amazing support. If you want to inquire for coaching, click the link in the description. Use my code Mikey at Perform Nutrition to support your boy. 25% off, the best brand in the world. And yeah, that's pretty much going to cover it. Onwards and upwards from here, guys. Carry on chasing your dreams, as I always say. Take it easy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Episode 2 done. Feels good.